Hey guys, it's Theron from Revital Outdoors again. Thank you for joining us on our newest podcast. Today's guest, he fishes the Major League Fishing Bass Pro Tour. Formerly, he was fishing the Bassmaster Elite Series. I believe he was runner-up in the 2012 Bassmaster Classic. He's qualified for multiple championship events. He's from Wetumpka, Alabama. He's known as the Rooster, Mr. Greg Vinson. How you doing today, Greg?
Hey, Darren. Hey, thanks for having me on, man. Good to be here.
Yeah, well, we're glad to have you on, and very excited to have you on our pro staff. So, everyone knows who Greg Vinson is, but tell us a little bit more about you and your fishing career. What got you into fishing and all that?
Oh man, my dad was a hardcore club angler, fished some local tournaments, stuff like that. So that's really how I got into it. And I've always been competitive, played a lot of sports, growing up, and played college baseball. Was really fortunate to get a chance to do that. But my first love has always been fishing. And seems like I always come back to that. I try this and try that, and I've enjoyed all the other sports. But there's just something about fishing in general that I'm just always drawn to. I'm always thinking about it. I can't wait to get back out there the next time. And I've always been like that since I was a little kid. It's kind of unique like that because other people weren't as excited and worried about trying to go catch whatever fish they could catch like I was. But we all have our thing, and fishing's my thing. I just really have a passion for it. I love the challenge. It's always something new. And naturally being a competitor, like I am, tournament fishing, I was just drawn to that. And I've been really fortunate to do this full time for several years now. And I never imagined I'd get that opportunity. It came along, the right things happened at the right times and gave me a chance to give it a shot, and haven't looked back.
I got you. You've had a great career. I remember following you from early on. I believe your first year on the Elite Series was 2009, 2010.
That's right. That's right. You got a good memory. 2009.
Yeah, you did well there. And then I always remember you were always in the net bait boat, and you were always the guy throwing a pack across. So great, phenomenal flipping bait. It's one of my favorites. So, you said you played sports, you kind of transitioned into fishing. So, you've been fishing all your life. You're in Alabama. I know you as one of the best Coosa River spotted bass fishermen that there is. But tell us why living in Alabama is such a great place to go bass fishing and get started into fishing.
Man, I had no clue how blessed I was growing up, being in Alabama. I grew up on Lake Martin, and, I'd go fish from the bank. And, back then when I was a kid, I'd try to catch every species I could. As I got older, we started getting out on the boat with my dad, fishing tournaments, just trying to catch whatever fish lived in Lake Martin. I went to school in Montgomery at AUM, played ball there, and had a couple other, two or three other guys that teammates that we were all just eat up with fishing and hunting. And, so we started fishing around whoever had a boat at the time, we would try to hit whatever lake we could in the area. And, as I got out of school and started getting more into tournament fishing with the club, we started going to some of the other lakes around here. And man, I'll tell you what, it's just, so many good lakes within 30 minutes. And then if I stretch it out an hour and a half, so many more on the Coosa River, these big Coosa spots. We had, I had no clue, what we had here. There's such a unique species. Anywhere else you go in the country, just about, you don't even want to catch spotted bass in a tournament usually. But when you're fishing the Coosa River, a lot of times it's 5 spotted bass winning the tournament. And big ones, 3 to 5 pounders are not uncommon at all. And
Right.
You just don't see that in other parts of the country. And it wasn't until I started fishing full time and I started getting away from the house what I realized what a, unique thing that we have here with the Coosa spots. But there's really good training grounds, and it was kind of a blessing in disguise that, I moved away from Lake Martin, my home lake, that, I knew a lot of brush piles and knew a lot of points and rock piles, and we fished the same thing all the time. And when I got away and started fishing these lakes that I'd never fished before, and a lot of that I had to figure out on my own. And it was really, I didn't realize it at the time, but it's probably just, part of the plan that I was forced to try to figure it out. And I took some butt kickings in some local tournaments, finding my way through that. But it was really good for me because I learned to pattern fish. I learned to ask why, figure out why the fish positioned in a certain area and why they decided to bite a bait, one day versus another bait another day. And, that's part of the draw to fishing for me is the figuring it out part, the answering why. And, two, working with the state, I got a chance to travel the whole state. And, was in a boat. Unfortunately, didn't get to fish much. We were just filling jugs of water, if you will. It was a little more complex than that, but we were doing water testing. But man, I got to see all the different rivers and lakes and fisheries in Alabama, and it was just really amazing. Especially I was at that time I was in my early 20s, and I still had no clue how many great water bodies we had here in the state, and how much good fishing was available. So it's pretty cool.
That's cool. I know you mentioned you taking those butt whoopings, but that's part of fishing, growing up. But you're in an area with a lot of hammers. We were talking to Daryl Gleason on our last podcast, and he was talking about fishing Rayburn and Toledo Bend and how hard it is. Well, think about the hammers that are around there. Alabama's, I think they've got the most classic champions, the most angler of the years. There's a numerous amount of anglers that have uprooted from where they lived previously and moved to Alabama. So, I mean, don't feel bad. It's a learning curve, but you have such good opportunity and such good sticks in that state. And as much as I hate to admit it, I still think the best college fishing programs are in the state of Alabama with Auburn and the University of Alabama. So, so that's really cool.
Solid right there.
Well, what have you been doing in the off season? I know that you qualified for Redcrest. We're really looking forward to seeing you there on Grand Lake, and Grove, Oklahoma is where I'm originally from. I cut my teeth, grew up on Grand Lake, but Tulsa's going to be a great venue. So, how are you preparing for that? Are you doing any kind of hunting? Like, what's your off season look like?
Man, I really enjoy hunting, especially bow hunting. But I'm just so eat up with fishing right now, and around the house, our deer don't go into rut until really early January, and a lot of them going into February. They extended our season a little bit into February. So, I'm back when I was mad at them, I was out there, opening day, and I went hard every day that I got a chance. But now, I don't have my own property to hit for one thing, so I bum off some buddies, and I'll take them on some good fishing trips, and we'll trade out some good fishing for some good hunting trips. But hoping I'll get to go a little bit. But the season got extended a little bit for me this year compared to normal years. We had the Cups, the Major League Fishing Cups, which haven't aired yet, but I fished the first two of those. So as soon as the season ended, I went right into doing some Cups and doing some other things for sponsors, trips. Had fishing trips promised out to friends because I've been traveling all year long. And I'm like, hey man, I want to get you out there in the fall, and then I've been doing some crappie fishing. So filling up the freezer, and that's a fun way to fish. And any bass folks that look down on crappie fishing, I'm telling you, the live scope. If you can see a 16th ounce jig in 30 feet of water and watch a 1 pound crappie eat it, then chances are you're going to be able to catch a bass on a bigger fish on a bigger bait in the same situation. So it's been really good to keep me in tune with my electronics. So staying busy, and then of course there's family time, and we're doing stuff for the holidays and spend some time with friends and family, and Gage is in basketball and getting ready to start baseball. So man, it's, we call it an off season, but we're just off from tournament fishing. We're definitely staying busy. And, last but not least, we're getting ready for next season, getting the boat together, sponsors lined up, and getting equipment ready and getting everything lined up, because we're going to start in February this year. So it's going to be here before we know it.
Right. I know the industry's still being impacted by some of the shipping stuff that's going on internationally. So I can't even imagine. I know a number of my friends and people that I know in the industry, they've been told to keep their boats or keep their electronics because they're just having trouble getting new products. So hopefully that all gets fixed and everybody can have their new equipment for the new year. So I know that's been a challenge. So I'm glad to hear it's all working out for you.
So far, so good.
Yeah, the season starts in February, but let's talk about Redcrest. I believe this is your first Redcrest that you've qualified, or second?
This is the second. I made it the inaugural season, and I finished third. That was the one, most everybody talks about Edwin just catching one after the other every cast, and he was hard to keep up with. So, but had a good one there, finishing third in that first one. I missed it last year, unfortunately. So I'm excited to get back, and especially when I saw Grand Lake being the lake that we were going to. I like Grand Lake. I've only fished it twice, in tournaments, but I like that type of lake, and I like that time of year we're going to be there, and I know what lives there, and of course you know too. And
I know I can't say anything, but it's gonna take a lot of weight. There's gonna be a couple records, I think, and It all depends on the weather. If the weather works out, I mean, that's with any lake though in the country, but if the weather works out, it could be absolutely a slugfest. And I'm so glad to see that Major League Fishing has decided to keep on the Grand Lake Trail. I know that first Redcrest was scheduled for Grand Lake and it didn't work out because of the high water. And then they've had a couple events in their schedule, but because of COVID and high water. So finally you get to come to Grand Lake for Redcrest and you're going to hit it at the right time of year. So it's exciting. I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys get out there. And I think it could be anybody's tournament. I was looking at the list of anglers that qualified. And, there's some hammers in there, and there's a lot of guys in there that I feel like are strong in how the fish are going to be caught that time of year.
I do too, man. It's hard to emphasize how strong this field of Bass Pro Tour anglers is. You can go through the list of names and get a pretty good idea, but I've fished against them for several years now, and any one of these guys in the entire Bass Pro Tour field, but especially this smaller group that's qualified for Redcrest. Hammers is a good way to put it. I mean, any of these guys, any of us in this field going into Redcrest has got a chance to win this thing. It just comes down to who can get it dialed in to start with, and especially in our format, how you being able to keep them dialed in so you can continuously put scoreable bass on the board. You can't just go out there and catch a few good ones and kind of hold on. I've learned that the hard way. You gotta keep adjusting, and being a springtime tournament, it's going to be exciting for the fans to watch this time of year because you can bet we're going to get some weird conditions. But because of this format forces you to keep catching fish along the way, you're going to see some adjustments, and whoever makes those right adjustments is going to bring home that Redcrest trophy.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, let's transition. How did you discover about Revital Outdoors? And you've been a long time doing this, and you've got a great career. So, what was it like coming on board with Revital and using the products? And what do you think it's going to do for you for your career in the future?
I'm really excited, man. I'd heard about the CBD maybe a couple of years ago, and I can't remember when I first tried a CBD product. At the time, it wasn't a Revital, but I noticed a little bit of benefit from it. And I didn't really know what to expect, and but I thought, there may be something to this. I've been plagued, mentioned playing sports early on, and I strained. I guess back then I didn't know what it was at the time, but I strained. I guess it was a ligament in my SI joint back in my back. That was playing baseball in college. Of course, back then I was younger, and I got, I couldn't get off the couch for about 3 days. But then once I recovered, it didn't really bother me. And then I got, once I got out of college and got in, started doing some tournament fishing. Those long days, up and down. You're standing up all day. You're hitting rough water continuously, and I really started to feel the effects of it, especially after a multi-day practice. Where you're just grinding all day. You get up, you don't get enough sleep, you don't eat as well as you should, you get up and go again. And so, for me, I was really excited to try Revital. And the first time I saw it was at ICAST this year. And I was encouraged because the Revital product, is kind of targeting the outdoors market. And I don't think, people realized how important that is, whether you fish or hunt. It's demanding physically and mentally, to do the things that we love to do. And you got to get up and go again the next day, especially when it's your profession. And I've noticed a great benefit, especially with my back. One of the other things that I battled were kind of chronic headaches, and not what I would call migraines, but just put it in perspective. I was eating ibuprofen, left and right. On practice days, I was taking 3 ibuprofen, 2, 3, sometimes 4 times a day. Just between the headaches in my back. And one of the things I would mention, when I started taking the Revital, especially the soft gels, was, after a few days, I didn't even think about it, but I wasn't taking as much ibuprofen. It's kind of like I just kept going through my, daily routine, doing whatever it was I did. And then I looked back and I was like, I haven't been taking as much ibuprofen as I was. And that was the first sign to me that it was making a difference, that I wasn't having that, that shutdown kind of pain that just makes you want to just quit doing whatever you're doing and just stop, been able to go for a full day, whether it's fishing or, like the last day or two, been out there, working in the yard, pushing leaves around. And so that's been great, for me to have something like that. That's a safe, natural product that, that I believe in at this point. I've experienced it. So it's really easy to tell people about it. And I'm looking forward to being able to use it during the season, because during the course of the season, you get worn down like any other sport. And so if you have something that, can help carry you through those times, I got a, good feeling that Revital's going to be able to help me do that.
Good deal. So, well, speaking of which, what products are you using, and what products do you recommend, and what products can we see in your boat in the coming season?
Definitely the soft gels for me. That's just one, I like to take it at night because it just helps me calm down. I've got mine right here. Just ordered some more actually yesterday because I'm about out of that one. But I take those at night, and it really seems like just doing that each night, by about the second or third day, you really start to see the benefit. I'll get some, initially that day. But definitely once you get on a kind of a routine, that's when you really see the benefits. And like me, it was a gradual process. So, I had to look back and say, wow, I'm not hurting like I was, and it took a few days. The other one for me, I had a tough bout with tendonitis a couple of years ago, and it still kind of haunted me. But there's the cream. Let's see if we can get it in the screen. That has really helped. I got to the point where I could get back to pitching and flipping. I went 2 years where I almost just, physically couldn't make a pitch with my right hand, learned how to do it left-handed. And it really affected my performance. And over time, I've, done a lot of, exercising, stretching, got that built back up, but there's still some pain there that haunts me in my elbow. And, so I started just putting the CBD cream on in the morning before I go. And that just kind of seems to help calm everything down, loosens up, keeps that inflammation down. The inflammation is what, really shuts you down. When that inflammation builds up, and after reading up on the CBD products like this, like Revital, that's something that it does. It helps keep that inflammation down and helps you keep going, keep doing what you do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, speaking of our products and everything we got going for us right now is the holiday campaign. You can see the ticker right there. So from now until Friday, December 24th, that's Christmas Eve, use the code HOLIDAY. That'll get you 25% off your order. Two of the products that Greg has mentioned today, the soft gel and the cream, are most popular products, especially among the outdoor enthusiasts. I can't tell you the number of advantages that everyone has given back to us, and the reviews have just been absolutely phenomenal from the hunters and the fishermen about how great these products are helping them sleep and head-to-toe inflammation. And then the cream, it just works wonders. It's really good for elbow and joint inflammation. I know the guys that were bow hunting with it this year really appreciated it because it helped them pull back the string a little bit easier. And I know for me, I always use it on my hands after a long day of fishing, and I get those hand cramps. It seems to just really alleviate that aches and soreness throughout the day. So again, that ticker right there, holiday, get 25% off from now until December 24th. Greg, any last thoughts, any last things coming up, the end of the year that you're looking forward to, or any last final words for our audience?
Well, you've been asking me all the questions there, but I've got one for you. So I ordered a new product yesterday. I was telling you about my crazy dogs. We had to put them outside to get the podcast done because they thought you were in the house. But so we ordered some of the gummies for the pups, and we call them Thing 1 and Thing 2. They're Frenchtons. They got Boston Terrier in them, and they're wild as heck, but they're great little dogs. So thinking about trying out the gummies for the pups. What do you think? You hear any feedback on it?
Yeah, so the dog chews, we had a lot of great feedback during 4th of July. A lot of people that had dogs with severe anxiety to the fireworks, they were using them then. And it really seemed to calm them down, help them sleep at night, get through all those blasts and bangs. But I've had a couple of friends back in Arkansas that ordered them for their dogs that were gun shy, or they get really anxious out in the field duck hunting. And it said it totally calmed them down, kept them, their nerves were completely controlled, and they just seemed a lot better out in the field when the guns were going off.
Still hunted good.
They still got to hunt. Yeah.
Awesome. So. Yeah, man, that's best of both worlds there. Well, cool. I just ordered it yesterday, so I'm looking forward to, try it out. And when they get a little wild, when somebody comes over or something like that, might help them, help them chill. Or maybe if we go on a road trip with the family and they tag along, might help.
Absolutely. So, well, Greg, thank you for taking the time to be on our podcast. We look forward to having you on again in the future. Good luck in 2022, and we're really looking forward to you representing Revital Outdoors.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Well, that's going to wrap up our podcast today featuring Alabama's Greg Vinson. You see him on the Major League Fishing Bass Pro Tour. He's going to be at the 2022 Redcrest. Don't forget, we will be at the 2022 Redcrest in Tulsa. Please come by the booth. See some of our products. We're going to have some show specials going on. And then also, if you're an avid outdoor enthusiast and you're curious about our affiliate program, please make sure you ask us about that as well. One final thought. Just again, the holiday sale happening right now, 25% off your entire order. Use the code HOLIDAY. That's from now until December 24th. That's Christmas Eve. So really hope that you take the advantage to look at our website, use that code, and try our product if you've never tried it before. So until then, I'm Theron Asbury. Again, thank you for all the support to Revital Outdoors. Make sure if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Hit that notification button so that way you know when all of our podcasts and all of our digital content is being landed. For now, be safe out in the outdoors. God bless and happy holiday.